Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Woldolf's Garage. So today I put the LED headlights in. The only problem is it threw a check engine light code. So today we're going to be going over how to fix that check engine light code as well as how to adjust the headlights. So stay tuned and see what happens. Okay, so headlights on these cars, you've got a dust cap. That is right here. It's behind the air filter. And then you got another dust cap for the headlights right here in front of the fuse box. And beside, I think it's battery. But those are the two places. So I've seen a lot of videos to where they said that you have to take the tire off and do all kinds of stuff like this. This isn't true. You do need to take this off. I'll kind of show you what all we need to do here. So you start by just unscrewing the air filter. These screws will stay in here, so you don't have to worry about them falling down in the engine compartment or anything like that. All right, so there's those, and then you'll have to undo this one here. And then you will pull that plug off there. All right, so what'll happen is just pull this up, pull this off first, just like that. I might not have to screw all the way undone. I don't. All right, so you'll have to lift up and pull back. And then you just set that to the side. And there's your air filter. You take that out, put that to the side. All right, and then you're probably wondering on this guy because you still don't have enough room to get in here. This one is just held in by three kind of plugs, I guess. You just pull up on it. And then that comes off like that. The only thing you gotta watch for is sometimes the plugs get stuck there and then they probably won't go back in. So if you take these plugs off, and then put them back in there, so that way the reinstall will be a little bit easier. Just like that. All right, then you can set that to the side too. And then there's your dust cap to get to your headlights. So what you do is you'll turn it. Turn it, and then your dust cap will come off. They do have a rubber gasket on them, so they will be really snug. They don't turn a full rotation. They got little tabs on them, so just turn a little bit. And then it exposes your headlight. So I will be honest with you. I already got the LEDs in. Whenever I put them in though, so the way it works is if you put the LEDs in and you're getting an error code, or with this car, what'll happen is it'll throw the check engine light. What happens is LEDs draw so much less electricity, energy, power, that the car thinks that there's an error, there's an issue, or something's wrong. So what you'll need to do is buy some their decoders, and what they'll do is they'll plug into the LED bulb and then plug into the factory harness. And what it does, it's got a little resistor on it, and it tricks the computer basically into thinking that the regular headlights are in it. Because what happens is whenever the computer reads that it's got the lower draw from these headlights, it thinks there's an error, there's an issue, or something's wrong with the headlights. So that's why it starts throwing the check engine light. Some more higher end cars will do, they'll say that some, and headlights out or something like that. I've also read on different forums saying that if you replace these in some of these cars, it'll start throwing other electronic things off in the vehicles. So just make sure you get those. Don't just drive around with it, or there could be some other issues that you could cause. But let me get the other one out, and then we will grab the decoders, get those in the headlight housings, and see what happens. All right, so this one is right here, and this one is kind of tight. It still has those other components that are there. All right, so when you get that one, pop out like that. And then that exposes the headlight on that side. Now about the headlights, so these are Diode Dynamics headlights is the ones that I went with. I watch a lot of Headlight Revolution, and they do a bunch of testing. So if you guys are looking for LEDs and you don't know which ones to get or which ones you like, check out Headlight Revolution. They do a lot of testing on different bulbs. The Diode Dynamics is local here. They're made in the US. They're not very far away from the house. So those are the ones I went with. I also heard really good reviews about them. So it got here in like 3 days. It wasn't very long, but it says on the instructions when you read them, it says that it might be a very tight fit. It was a very tight fit. I like that it was such a tight fit, but I also was kind of questioning on if they were the right bulbs. So if it doesn't fit right away, keep trying, keep messing with it. Eventually, don't push it to the point that you're going to break it, but if you get a pretty good amount of pressure on the bulb as you're turning it into the socket, it'll eventually go. They're tight. That's how it works. Also, whenever you put the headlight in, you want the LED to be up and down. This mimics the way, and if you watch Headlight Revolution's videos, this mimics the way that your stock factory headlight looks. And if you mimic that, then your headlights for your the output, the display or whatever, will be the same or close to what the factory was. You'll just have that brighter, more intense color and bulb. So let me go get the decoders. All right, so first thing you want to do is fish in here, find your wires. There. All right, so there is your wire from the headlights, and this is your factory stock wire back there. So you just want to unplug this one. If I can do this with one hand. I can't. All right, so there's how it looks. It's plugged into the factory wire, comes through, and then plugs into the LED. So one good thing to do before you close all this up, get everything tucked away and put it back together, is make sure it works. With LEDs, a lot of times the polarity makes a big difference. So if you have it plugged in backwards, it won't light up. So you can get all this put back together and then it won't light up. Oh, there it goes. All right, so let's get this all tucked back in. I'm really hoping it all fits in the headlight housing because for one, it says it does, and for two, I do not want to drill a hole into the dust cover. I know people do it and it's done all the time, but I just really don't want to. Okay, just like they said it would all fit. It's all in there. Let's pop this dust cover back on. All right, so that is on. There I am. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side, and then we will get it turned on, let you guys see what it looks like. I'll be right back. All right, guys, they are in. They look great, but I took it out and drove it. The only thing is the light's a little lower than what I would like it or what the factory used to be, so we're gonna have to readjust them, but this is what the headlights look like. So here you go. The reason I did it was because these LEDs here were, of course, LED, and then these were the stock halogen ones. I was not impressed with the stock halogen ones because it just didn't match. Plus, it's the Premier Edition, so it's got the LED taillights and things like that, and it was kind of cheap on Chevy. There's that side. And then that side, and then they look really good with the LEDs. So when it all lights up, looks really good. It's got a good cutoff. One thing to keep in mind if you're doing this, please keep this in mind. So a lot of people might just not know, but I've stopped a lot of people. I work as a police officer as well. And I've stopped a lot of people because their headlights are just way too bright. So if you're getting these, I've seen people, they put them in just the regular factory housings. The only problem with this is there's so much scatter that light just goes everywhere, and then you blind everyone driving. So even if you have your low beams on, it's still gonna blind everyone because it's way too bright. So my suggestion, and it's just a suggestion, mine though, coming from my line of work and the things I do, I would not put them in just the regular reflective headlight housings. I would put them in projectors, because with the projector housings, you get that clean cutoff. So that way, when you're driving, that's as high as the light is shining, and then you don't have to worry about it coming up here and blinding all the other drivers. To where if you have it in the regular reflective housing, what's going to happen is light's going to scatter all up here, and then whenever it's time, you won't be able to dim your headlights because they're going to be too bright. With HIDs, there's a little piece of metal in there that flips, and whenever it flips, it scatters the light everywhere, so that way you can have your high beams and low beams. One other thing to keep in mind is whenever you put these in, you're going to hear a little bit of noise, a little bit of humming. The Diode Dynamics lights have got built-in fans on them to help cool them, and by helping cool them, it makes them last longer. So whenever the lights are on, you're actually going to hear a little bit of a hum. Let's see if you can hear it. I mean, it's not that loud, it's not that noticeable, but whenever you're putting them in, just don't freak out. It's normal, that's how it is. So let's get her put back together, and yeah. All right, see if we can get rid of that check engine light. I went ahead and disconnected the negative. If you do get a check engine light like that, the car's probably gonna hold that check engine light for a little bit. So I went ahead and disconnected that to see if that would clear out that code. So let me get it hooked up and we'll see if it fixed it. All right, we are back together, so let's see what happens. And right there is where your check engine light usually is, right underneath the seatbelt. So yeah, back together. Looks like we're good to go. So on that note, I guess thanks for tuning in to Woldolf's Garage. You guys have a great rest of your day, and tune in next time. I think we're going to go ahead and adjust the headlights on the next one, so stay tuned.